Oh, it's time to grab your glasses, family. It's time for us to get started. I'm so excited. Sitting up here, Kid Magic, Kid Magic Rock. Shots out. Here we go. Drink your water. Come on, drink your water, but first, take your breath and drink some water. Take your breath. Take your breath and drink some water. Take your breath. Take your breath and drink some water. Take your breath.
Drink. Or should we say, breathe, then drink. All right, family, we are in the house, and we want to say great Ujamaa to each and every last one of you. Man, we are standing firmly on the great day of Ujamaa during the week of Kuji Chaglia. So, Kuji babies, y'all can stand up too. And yes, we are on a double Ujamaa today. Right. On the macro level, because we are in the cycle of Ujamaa, we are on the day of Ujamaa, right? Of course, we are in the week of Kuji Chagalia, and we are in the year of Ujamaa, man, and this is turning out to be a challenging, but when you step back, you can catch the beauty. Sometimes you need to step back from your life so you can catch the beauty. But before I get all into that, family, I want to make sure to tell you to like, subscribe, and share. And most importantly, comment, family, because the only way we grow is what? Yep, that's right. If we grow. That's right. The only way we grow is if we grow. So make sure you like, share, subscribe. Right? You subscribe. And most importantly, comment. Because I'm very interested in what is popping off on your mind and your thoughts about some of the stuff we be talking about here on the Daily Spark. Also, if you are interested, please become one of those candle lighters, right? Become one of those supporters of what we do. All right, family, so let's jump into it. So yesterday, I came up with a new term. It was called Stop Bottom Bitching. I kind of like that, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so, but that's actually, that's going to happen anyway, because regardless of whether I'm going by a script or whether I'm going full freestyle, right? I'm going to come up with something, right? But the idea that I wanted to get across was that in this system requires a bottom. Right, so that individuals could stand up on the bottom and stand up. People be on the bottom so that others can stand up on that bottom to reach up and grab what is called success in this society, right? And we got to be clear, family. That bottom was marked by the color of our skin because it's easy. You don't have to think about it. It don't take no heavy thinking to think about it. You need something to identify that group for the rest of the world that's going to be operating. Now, I'm not saying that there was some genius that came up with it. It was simplicity. It was simple. You know what I'm saying? It was simple. And we just have to be very clear about that. It was a very simple concept to stumble upon. Right? These people are darker. Hey. Hey. They can't run. They can't hide. Hey. And as and some of you who are experimental, who do experimental things in your life, you know that things that you do that a lot of people look at and be like, ooh, that's incredible. A lot of times that shit came about through your experimentation. It wasn't genius. It was your experimentation, and you stumbled on something that worked. And this is basically what happened here, because I'm not one of those that want to paint the picture that we are up against a brilliant tactician and there's no way we could win. Now I know deep down we dealing with some, we dealing with some very insecure, narcissistic individuals that are able to find ways to keep themselves centered so that they could feel good. You know what I'm saying? So in us building our system, we need to make sure we build our system on justice. We need to make sure we build our system on my art, right? Recognizing and saluting those who understand and, in a sense, can buy into the idea and the system that we are building. I know for some of us that might be problematic because everybody needs to be. Yeah, I agree. But you can't be allowed to come inside of something and just tear it up because you don't understand or you believe that it should be a certain type of way, right? Nah, because that we done did that. That shit don't work. We done did that, right? So the whole bottom bitching idea was not all of us are, but in order for there to be a bottom, you have to, if you're going to be the bottom, they need your assistance and your agreement for you to be at the bottom. And oftentimes, a lot of us will be like, hell no. But then there will be a few that be like, hey, I'll probably be on the bottom. And those are the individuals that sometime will get rewarded, or they reward individuals in order to keep what they got. They will have to become the good bottom bitch and become great bottom bitchers. You know what I'm saying? Do some bottom bitching, right? Making sure that things are in order. As one of my favorite movies always says, there's no way that America can police the world and keep us on our ass unless we allow them. Actually, he went, there's no way that they could keep us on our ass and police the world. There's no way that they could keep us on our ass and police the world at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a very simple, if we don't manage ourselves, right? If we don't take care of it ourselves, then you always got to have a portion of the population to accept. And it only takes, it was a term that a dude gave me years ago. It's a critical mass. It only takes a critical mass. And a critical mass is not that much, right? Something like less than 10%. Right? It only takes less than 10% to fall for the trick. Well, and then we start looking at stuff. So, and now, something else that I was working on yesterday, because I overdid it yesterday. So, I decided to include in my workout yesterday, I walked to work. I knew it was going to be hot. I can't even act like I didn't know it was going to be hot. But goddamn, listen. By the time I got to work, my shirt was so damn soaked that I had to take it and put it in the dryer to dry it off. So walking to work means that I had to walk back from work. Now, that was 4 miles there, 4 miles back. When I got here, I had to get my daughters and get to go experience the bus because I need for them to know how to use the bus. But in the coming school year, Gina gonna have to get on this bus. So I wanted to make sure that she knew how to do it. So we went and did the bus, and we dropped Gina off where she needed to be, and me and Sasha got a chance to go downtown. I went downtown. You can see some of the pictures. I didn't take a lot, but I did my walk through downtown, went to the riverfront, say my farewells, because I won't be able to get down there in the morning, like I used to, So, yeah, went by, and just got a chance to just walk with my youngest, right? And one of the things that I have to refine, and I'm speaking on me, I don't know if this is you, but Elder Wakesa, when he came, he brought my attention to the idea of we correct the behavior and not the person, right? We call out the behavior. You know what I'm saying? So, learning to phrase in a discussion is very hard, especially when I have been trained to attack the person, right? It's the person, right? It's not the behavior, right? That's how I've been trained. It's you. It's not the behavior. And learning to identify the behaviors and separate the behavior from the person is very, very hard for me, right? Because my whole life I was identified through the behaviors, right? And I watched people identify through the behaviors, and it became normal for me. Not that it was right, it just became normal. So in our communication, when we are building, because yesterday was about Ujima, collective work and responsibility, and today is about Ujima, which is about resources, right? We need to make sure that we are able to call out the resources, and because, like, for example, people are resources, not resources to be used. None of this stuff around here is just to be used and thrown away, right? Show some respect. Everything is a resource. But when you call on that resource, right, you could call on it in a respectful fashion. You could deal with it in a respectful fashion. And you could call out the behavior and not the person. The behavior and not the being, which is very hard. Now, what made me think about that was because at work, I am working on developing and also coming up for the discussion during the Comedic New Year. I'm going to try to mix some of this up in there as well. The communication style of building relationships, right? So in some form or fashion, in the Ghouls of Solve a narrative map, which I have, I want to bring in the discussion of proper communication, calling on the being. Because in order for us to liberate ourselves, we have to depend on the beings, right? Not the behaviors. It's the beings that's going to free us. And it's the beings that's in control of the behavior. So what we have to do is connect and develop a relationship with the beings. Same thing with learning. If we want our young people to learn, we got to connect with the beings, and not just the beings of the child. We have to connect with the beings that surround the child, right? Because relationships are a key resource that we have in our community, but we are not really taking advantage of. There's something about being corrected by an elder that is irreplaceable, has absolutely nothing to do with fear. And I often tell this story. I remember Gye-nyame boys. Oh my God. Let me just say this. You know, we got the tribe now, but at one point in time I had the Gye-nyame boys, the early parts of Gye-nyame. The Gye-nyame boys were Gye-nyame House, produced Gye-nyame boys. These, oh my God, listen to me, family. I mean, I got so many stories, and every now and then you'll see one of the Gye-nyame men now, but the young people that came up in Gye-nyame in the early, with the young Hatim, oh my God, listen, and they would do some dastardly, I have to use some dastardly shit, right? And I remember they did some dastardly shit at Simba and put me in a totally fucked up situation. And I was like, shit, I went back to my cabin and I was like, shit, let me start packing. we go have to go home. Let me start packing. And Elder Gaylord came in, and Gaylord read me, as Noma would say, read me the riot act. And had me in tears, man. And the point that I'm trying to make was I wasn't scared of Gaylord. I felt totally safe around Gaylord. But Gaylord's disappointment meant more to me than my fear of all the nation builders coming together to try to jump on me about this shit. Gaylord's disappointment was more painful for me than leaving Simba. You know what I'm saying? It was painful. So the correction that we are missing out on in our community is the power of bringing that person, that being that is in relationship with another being, where it's not fear that moves us, it's love. Right? I'm not, because a lot of our children are used to being hit. They are used to being intimidated. And we want them to learn, so we intimidate them. And some of us don't even realize that it's intimidation tactics, it's blame, shame, and guilt that we're using to try to change our children's behavior and try to get them to learn. I might not be saying anything to threaten you, but in a sense I'm threatening your future. Well, if you don't learn this, you're not going to be able to do anything. That's fear. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You're doing things to extract mad, sad, and scared out of me rather than producing peace, power, and joy. I learn my best and I become powerful when you inspire peace, power, and joy in me. Same thing in our community. Right? We can't shame our people into liberation. We can't scare our people into freedom. You know what I'm saying? Because then, what's the difference between what we're doing and what the oppressor's doing? We have to plug into the being. And in plugging into the being, we move, and I know this is going to sound crazy coming out of my mouth, we move people with love. We move people with peace, power, and joy. We learn how to identify the conversation we having. Are we having a conversation that you want to be heard? Do you need healing? You want to be heard? You want to be helped? Or you want to be hugged? Right? I mean, simple. These are resources that are out here since we on Ujamaa. We on a double Ujamaa today. And these resources are available for each and every last one of us. Right? And then you throw the Nguzo Saba narrative map on top of that. Right? Where we have natural connections and natural inclinations that pop up. And you see that you have similarities with individuals. And it's the group. See, because it wasn't the fear of being put out the group that motivated people to do what was necessary in the past. It was the love of the group that made them want to do what they do. For us, it wasn't fear of the state or fear of the group that would cause us to go to war. It was love of the group. Love and the desire to want to protect that would push us to war. And that's that love, right? That peace, power, and joy that we all naturally are seeking will push us to do the right thing. Will push us, not just, I ain't going to say right, will push us to do what's necessary in order for us to move to the next level. All right, family, I'm sorry. So those of you that's out there, and I know you like, damn, out there, where is the proverb of the day? The proverb of the day. I'm not sure where I got it. For some reason, they said it's from South Africa, I think. But it says, pancakes take shift on fire. Pancakes take shift on fire. Once again, pancakes take shift on fire. Now I'm gonna come back to that. The algorithm for today is there's more than enough when we share the how. Come on, say it with me. I'm going to say it again, then y'all can say it with me on the third time. There's more than enough when we share the how. Once again, there is more than enough when we share the how. Grab a pen, take a picture. Come on now. Because throughout the day, remember, I want you looking for the principle. If you're new at this, look for the Gye-nyame. Keep it simple. Where's Gye-nyame in your reality? Where's Gye-nyame in your thoughts? Where's Gye-nyame in your life? Where do you see cooperative economics happening? And look for it in resources. Look for it in all of the capitals, because I think there's something like 6 different capitals. Most of us only focus on the one, and that's the dollar. You know what I'm saying? Which is really not even a real capital in a sense. It's a representation, but there's like 6 different capitals. Baba Kelsey tells us that we need to be focusing on the human capital. You know what I'm saying? How is that operating in your life? All right. So let's get to the haiku of the day, because I think I done did enough. Let's do some haikus. The brother's haikuing, and I'm gonna have a quick discussion about the proverb. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna have a discussion about it. So we're gonna mix it all in today. All right. Change will always come, and if you keep this in mind, you can benefit. So pancakes take shift on fire. Now what this means is that when you're cooking a pancake, whether you're cooking it over coals or you're cooking it on the stove, and you have the thing that separates it from the fire, or even if you put it directly on the fire, I don't know how you would do that. But at some point in time, in order to keep that from burning up and turning into ash, you have to flip it over so that the other side can cook too. Because if you don't change the position of the pancake, like if you have it in the pot, you're looking for the hot spot, you're moving it around, you're doing what you need to do in order to get the heat to go around that pot evenly, and then when it's the right time, you flip it over, right? This is a signal to us. This is a lesson for us, because change always comes, because change is a necessity. Things cannot stay the same. So we have to be aware of that, right? If you're in a comfortable position, know that an uncomfortable position is coming. Change is coming. This is basically what this means. So now, being someone who wants to be in power, want to be in peace, want to be in joy, we have to understand that in order to embrace these things, we have to understand that change is coming, and with that understanding, that brings us a certain peace, and it brings us a certain knowledge that others don't have, right? So, keep that in mind. Let me read the next haiku. Spent time with youngest, went downtown riding bus. I had a good time. Very simple, very direct. And then, last one, when we share the how, there's enough for a village to truly prosper. When we share the how, there's enough for a village to truly prosper. Family, and let's think about that. When we share the how, that is the algorithm of the day. There's more than enough when we share the how. There's more than enough when we share the how. There's more than enough when we share the how. So there's more than enough, there's more than enough out here for us to prosper. We don't even need a lot to be able to prosper. We just need to learn how to share the how. Once we identify that, once we start communicating and start building that how, we become a powerful powerful group. So family, I'm not gonna hold you up any longer. I'm at 25 minutes. I think I did everything. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure that you comment, because I'm really interested in what you think. I want you to tell me what you think about the proverb, right? I'm back on the porch because once again I need to get a light inside, but I also like doing it like this as well. So look down in the description. You can connect with me. You can join our Telegram group. That's down there. You get your t-shirt. Hell, you could leave me a tip, right? Leave me a tip. Go ahead if you want to. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to get this Gye-nyame porch. And I want to thank all those that are making donations for December trip, right? I'm still tallying up because I got it going. It's going to different places, and I need to get with the people who manage that, because I try to stay away from managing the money. You know what I'm saying? You know, brother, I can, anyway. Not that I can't be trusted, but I'm not the best with money. Cause I'm one of those make it happen brothers, right? We need such a make it happen. We got it, boom. All right, nah. But this money's going for Simba, and Simsa is $400 per student. Right now, we have a list of about 25 children. So in order for us to get them totally without as little burden as possible on the families, we need to raise about 12,000. I'm just being real. You know what I'm saying? Just being real, right? And I ain't gonna say we ain't close. I'm gonna say we ain't close. But shit, I'm very grateful for what we've been able to raise, because there's gonna be money coming from other avenues, and I'm just hitting my list. Once everybody in our circle start hitting their list, you know what I'm saying, we'll be surprised what we'll be able to do. This is Brother Hatim. Oh, we got a fish fry coming up. I will be posting up on that too. This is Brother Hatim, and I am